Shameless plug.
All right, terrible. But all of the scenes that are in there, the two drops, the going back up the waterfall, the pirates shooting at each other, the theming is great. I don't know why they didn't just actually transfer that over to Walt Disney World. I mean, don't get me wrong, I like the Johnny Depp and all of that. That's at Walt Disney World too. I like the ride. I love the smell of the water, the whole bit. But the going through the bayou and everything, the first part of that's just, it's amazing. You can really put yourself into the attraction that it is. So I have to say Disneyland.
Okay, yeah, hands down. That's across the board. Yeah, Disneyland's definitely my favorite of that version too. So, and again, there for all the different things that you guys said. I'm just trying to think if there was anything different, but I mean, starting off there with the Blue Bayou, and then just going through the swamp thing, and then like I said, you got, especially for me, I rode the Walt Disney World version first, so you've heard about it, but you don't until you experience it. And then all of a sudden, there's two drops. Then you're going through the part there with the whole couple scenes there that aren't even in the Walt Disney World version with the skeletons.
Yep.
And everything, and then the one that's in the bed looking through the magnifying glass with the map and everything, and just stuff like that. That is just, it's like I said, that, and then the pirates shooting at each other while sitting there with all the dynamite and everything around it right before you head up the water. I mean, just so much different things that it's just I think it's head and shoulders above the Walt Disney World version.
And I think still it's still got the one real human bone over in Disneyland.
Yep.
So that's pretty cool.
And it's got the endless game of chess in the queue.
So does Walt Disney World.
Does it?
Yeah, the Fast Pass line.
It's the Fast Pass line now. Yeah, so you'll see it every time.
That would be why. I typically don't Fast Pass it.
So, all right. Next one on my list. We'll go ahead and start with Brian on this one. Peter Pan. Just to throw out there for Mike or anybody else that's listening, the ride itself is pretty much the same. The queues are a little bit different and everything. The two biggest differences are the new addition to the Walt Disney World one now, where if you're standing in line without the Fast Pass, you go through the Darling's bedroom. It has a lot of interactive stuff. The one difference to that one, to the Disneyland one has redone the Darling's bedroom as you go in through the ride to include Peter Pan's shadow flying out and a little more interaction of things moving around differently in the Darling's bedroom before you fly out that into the ride itself. So, what you got, Brian?
Well, I've not ridden the Disneyland version, but we got to experience the Peter Pan's new queue last time we were there. I believe you and I experienced it.
Yep.
And that was amazing. I loved it. I loved the interactivity throughout the queue. And I'm going to go with Walt Disney World. Give Walt Disney World some love.
Okay.
So I'm going to go with that version.
All right. Shannon.
I'm going with Walt Disney World. Even though I don't necessarily go through that queue every time, because we're fast passing it or using Bradley's DAS, I have to say that with the Walt Disney World one, really, I don't know, it's more interactive, and I don't like change. So the fact that it kind of has just stayed the same, it's the same from my childhood that it is today. So I'm going to say Walt Disney World.
Okay. Mike, what you think?
I'm going to have to go with Walt Disney World as well, because you got to tip your cap to the Imagineers who kind of realized the issue going on with the Peter Pan attraction in Florida, redid the queue, made it more interactive, made it a little more bearable for people without fast passes to wait, got them out of the sun, which is also important. And other than that, the rides are pretty much the same, but I think the queue in Florida gives the nod to Walt Disney World in that one.
Yeah, and I'm right there with you. So another clean sweep, but it's now for Walt Disney World for that one. I'll tell you, one of the other things, too, I don't like about the Disneyland one is that if they do have it very crowded, which it normally is, they actually have it where it comes out of the show building queue part area, and then they've got the little chains and everything, and those are really skinny in the California. Very tight to try to move around and get around in that one. So I think that's something that I don't know really with that one. It's located right after you get through the castle. It's right there on your right where the Peter Pan and Walt Disney World is back there by Small World and the Tangled Bathrooms where they could do a little more. They really can't do a whole lot with it right there where it's at in Disneyland, but if they could figure out something there, it would help on that one also. So, all right, moving on to our next one. Haunted Mansion. Shannon, Disneyland or Walt Disney World?
Oh my goodness. If you could take the facade from Disney World and put it at Disneyland's, it would be perfect. It would be perfect. But I love the inside of Disneyland's. The queue, everything inside, the Mad Hatter box. We've been waiting forever for that to come to Disney World. We kept hearing rumors that was, and, it hasn't. I said Mad Hatter, but it's not the Mad Hatter, but you know what I'm talking about.
Hatbox Ghost.
Hatbox Ghost.
You know what I'm thinking.
Yep.
But I have to say Disneyland.
Disneyland, okay. Brian.
Oh, she took the words right out of my mouth. The Hatbox Ghost. It just, when I saw that, I had heard and read so many things about it and did not know that he was there. And when I wound up reading later that he had been put in like a couple months before for the 60th. And I almost lost my mind when I saw him, and it was just unreal. It was absolutely unbelievable. And if they could find a way to bring the Hatbox Ghost to Orlando at Walt Disney World, I think we'd all be happy campers.
Yeah.
I know right where they can put it.
Yeah.
They got a spot for it, but the rumors I've heard is that because it was originally in Disneyland, they took it away, they're putting it in there, that they are not bringing it. At least at this point in time, there's no plans to bring it to Walt Disney World. So, Mike, I went to you last, that way you had plenty of time to think about it. Or was it really a contest?
Well, it's kind of I love the queue at Walt Disney World. That's a lot of fun. But I got to give the nod to Disneyland. Number one, the anticipation they built to put that in there. They had promotional posters for it for years. It took forever to get it in there. And, the good stories about how the Imagineers wanted to look all decrepit and everything from the outside. And Walt said, no, we'll take care of the outside. Let the ghost take care of the inside. It's a perfect fit in New Orleans Square. It's a perfect home for it, and I love them both. But again, the nod goes to Disneyland just for the perfect storm of an attraction.
Mm-hmm.
Yep, I'm right there with you guys. It's one of those ones where, it's the Hatbox Ghost almost is what the swinging vote for me is. It's just that is really cool after hearing all the stories about it and they finally put it in there, but the facades on both of them are just really cool, the way you get in there. I know, like I said, the stretching room in Disneyland is an elevator because it had to be there to get you underneath there, where then you get a lot of people think that you're in one in Walt Disney World, and you're not. But just because the way the stretching rooms are and everything, it throws you for that, and you really can't tell. But there's that one. They've got a couple other things. Like I said, the queue's a little bit different, more open before you get into the Doom buggies. A couple other different things. Now, they don't have the Escher room at Disneyland. That one's only at Walt Disney World. And a couple other different things that one has and the other one doesn't. But I think the big one is that the Hatbox Ghost, definitely. So.
Well, I've got while I agree with everything, there's one knock that I will probably get some flack for. The holiday overlay.
Oh, I agree with you.
Before Christmas.
Yeah.
I am so glad it is not at Walt Disney World.
Oh, yeah.
I don't want it.
Thankfully, it's not. I wouldn't travel there the last third of the year.
Just like they used to do with the Country Bear Jamboree, and they'd switch it over to Christmas.
Oh yeah.
Oh. No.
But something cool. I read the Jason Sorrell book on the Haunted Mansion, and in every Disney park there is a Haunted Mansion, but it is in a different land and it is a different theme, which I think is absolutely fantastic. That is just so cool that they're able to put that into every possible land. I don't think there's one in Fantasyland, but they had one that they were trying to work into Main Street USA, which I think would be really cool.
I know when they did Shanghai, they really had to talk with them about it, and there's specific guidelines that they could
Oh
have.
yeah.
And stuff like that. So
Yeah.
interesting from culture to culture.
Fun.
And the stories are different too.
Right. Yeah. I was gonna say, Mike. I mean, just taking this a little detour here with that one. Did Maureen, when she went, did she do Phantom Manor at Disneyland Paris?
Yes.
What
She said it was pretty neat. Some of the effects were good. She enjoyed it, but
It's no
she likes the
Haunted Mansion,
original.
huh?
No, she likes the original,
Yeah.
but
It's fun, it's nice, but it's no Haunted Mansion. So I was just kind of curious, especially with her being there just a couple months ago, just to see what she thought. So, all right, I'm going to throw a wild card in here. I was going to save this one till next time. I'm going to go ahead and just throw it out there because I also know that Mike is one of Mike's favorite rides here. Let's go with Splash Mountain. Disneyland or Walt Disney World? A little bit different in a couple different things. One of the biggest differences is the ride vehicles. Disneyland is the log flumy one where you ride single file, and Walt Disney World you ride side by side. There are a couple other different things in there, but I'll let you guys kind of elaborate on those and tell me what you guys think. Shannon, Disneyland or Walt Disney World?
Walt Disney World. If I'm going to fall down a hill, I want to fall down with someone. It's just so. But I enjoyed Walt Disney World's much more than I did Disneyland.
Okay. Anything else different as far as ride concepts or track or anything that you think of, or anything that stands out to you?
Nothing that really stood out to me. I mean, I liked them both, but if I had to choose one, I would say Disney World.
Okay.
Yeah.
Brian.
Well, first of all, I loved that attraction. I almost lost my mind when I saw there were no restraints in the Disneyland version, and I got in and I was like, wait, where are my restraints? You got to have a lap bar. They're like, oh no, gravity will take care of everything. If I can't remember which one's longer. Obviously, I've ridden Walt Disney World's more than I've ridden Disneyland's. I've only ridden that one once. I can't remember.
Disneyland is a little bit longer, and it actually has a few more drops inside the attraction.
That's what I thought. And I remember, I mean, while I love the Walt Disney World version, I remember that the Disneyland version definitely took my breath away. And it was it Walt Disney World that had America Sings, or was that Disneyland? Because the original audio animatronics came from America Sings, and I can't remember if they were from Walt Disney World or Disneyland. But, I mean, it's a toss-up for me. I mean, they're both fantastic attractions. Since it's the home park, I'll go with Walt Disney World.
Okay. And Mike, which one's your favorite?
Well, it should be a no-brainer for me for Walt Disney World when the thing is open, when the thing is not being refurbed, for months at a time. I mean,
True
how much
story.
more paint can you put on that thing? The ride is great. It's up there with the best attractions. The storytelling is great. The animatronics are fantastic when everything's working. The soundtrack's great. They could actually put a couple more characters from that film in there. I think that would really put it over the top. And plus, in Critter Country, it's pretty cool. But when you're walking into Frontierland and you're walking up the main drag there and you see Splash Mountain and you see Big Thunder Mountain with the lake and everything going by it, it's just absolutely breathtaking. So, and I like sitting side by side instead of someone sitting in my lap too. So we're gonna go with Walt Disney World when it's open.
When it's open. Yep. No, I right there with you. Walt Disney World gets that one. Like I said, I like the multiple drops at the Disneyland. Like Mike said too, not only where they put it though in Walt Disney World, but the other thing too is what you guys, when we were there in September, the thing that you guys experienced too is you guys came up at the very top right as fireworks and things are going off with the castle and everything. So every once in a while you get a very cool view of that. That is usually, like I said, just you can only catch that once every so often. So,
well, it's actually a really good photo opportunity. Right as you're cresting the hill, as you come up, you can see the castle, you can see Space Mountain, you can see the top of the Tiki Room. It's a really absolutely stunning view, and if you're brave enough to take out your phone and snap a picture, it's well worth it. Although I don't condone doing that, because if you lose it, I'm not buying you a new one.
That's why I'll just hold yours.
So, all right. Well, I got one more I'm going to end on. I consider this kind of a biggie. There are definitely, as I said, I have